Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Philadelphia City Council's Committee on Public Property and Public Works. I now note that the time has come. Will the clerk please call the roll and take attendance? Members that are in attendance, will you please indicate you're here by saying present when your name is called?
Madam Chair Lozada,
Present.
Vice Chair Squilla, Councilmember Gaudier, Councilmember Driscoll,
Present.
Councilmember Harity,
Present.
and Councilmember Young.
I note for the record that a quorum of this committee is present, and this hearing is called to order. This is a public hearing on the Committee of Public Property and Public Works regarding bills number 250426, 250485, 250486, 250433, 250492, 250434, 250435, 250440, 250441, 250483, 250484. Will the clerk please read the titles of the bills on the agenda for today?
Bill number 250426, introduced by Councilmember Jones, authorizing the Commissioner of Public Property on behalf of the City of Philadelphia to convey fee simple title or lesser real estate interests in and to all or a portion of the property in Cobbs Creek Park bordering City Avenue in Delaware County and in Cobbs Creek Golf Course bordering City Avenue in Philadelphia County, all under certain terms and conditions. And Bill number 250485, introduced by Councilmember Lozada, authorizing the Commissioner of Public Property on behalf of the City of Philadelphia to acquire fee title or a lesser interest in real estate located on East Roosevelt Boulevard in the vicinity of Langdon Street, known as Friends Campus, for the development, occupancy, and operation of a health center, and enter into related agreements, all under certain terms and conditions. And Bill number 250486, authorizing the Commissioner of Health and the Commissioner of Public Property on behalf of the City of Philadelphia to enter into agreements with the Philadelphia Authority for Industrial Development for the development of a mixed-use condominium and health center facility on premises located on Frankfurt Avenue in the vicinity of Pratt Street and Dyer Street, owned by FCDC Development Properties 1 LLC or an affiliated entity, and authorizing the Commissioner of Public Property to enter into a long-term lease or sublease agreement for the occupancy and operation of the health center facility on said premises, and authorizing the Commissioner of Public Property to acquire fee simple title to or a lesser interest in the completed health center facility, including a condominium unit, or to facilitate the transfer of title in the completed health center facility, including a condominium unit, to the Philadelphia Authority for Industrial Development or the Philadelphia Municipal Authority for the benefit of the city, all under certain terms and conditions. And Bill number 250433, introduced by Councilmember Young, authorizing the Commissioner of Public Property on behalf of the City of Philadelphia to enter into a sublease agreement with the Philadelphia Municipal Authority for use by the city of premises located at 1601-29 John F. Kennedy Boulevard, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, under certain terms and conditions. And Bill number 250492, introduced by Councilmember Young, authorizing the Commissioner of Parks and Recreation and the Commissioner of Procurement on behalf of the City of Philadelphia and the city to enter into a multi-year concession agreement with German American Marketing Incorporated, Christmas Village in Philadelphia, for the operation and management of a seasonal Christmas village for the City of Philadelphia at Love Park and other potential city-owned areas. And Bill number 250434, introduced by Councilmember Young, authorizing the Commissioner of Public Property on behalf of the City of Philadelphia to enter into a lease agreement for the use of all or a portion of the city-owned underground area, commonly known as Broad Street, Subconcourse North, that neighbors the basement of the Municipal Services Building located at 1401 John F. Kennedy Boulevard, under which the operator will maintain and operate the space to provide services to the community and unhoused persons under certain terms and conditions. And Bill number 250435, authorizing the Commissioner of Public Property on behalf of the City of Philadelphia to enter into a lease agreement with the Holmesburg Fish and Game Protective Association Incorporated for use of all or a portion of the city property bounded by the Pennypack Creek, the Delaware River, Pennypack Street, and State Road in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, under certain terms and conditions. And Bill number 250440, authorizing the Commissioner of Public Property on behalf of the City of Philadelphia to enter into an amendment to a lease agreement with Southeastern Pennsylvania Transportation Authority for use by the city of a portion of the premises located at 1234 Market Street, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 190107 under certain terms and conditions. And Bill number 250441, introduced by Councilmember Squilla, authorizing the Commissioner of Public Property on behalf of the City of Philadelphia to enter into a lease agreement with the New Market and Head House Conservancy for use of all or a portion of the city-owned premises, commonly known as the Head House in Shambles in Head House Square, located along 2nd Street between Pine and Lombard Streets in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, for the public benefit under certain terms and conditions. And Bill number 250483, introduced by Councilmember Catherine Gilmore Richardson on behalf of the Council President, authorizing the Commissioner of Public Property on behalf of the City of Philadelphia to acquire a fee simple title or lesser real estate interest in and to or a portion of the property bounded by Cobbs Creek, 75th Street Extended, Buist Avenue, 78th Street, and owned by the Philadelphia Redevelopment Authority, the Philadelphia Land Bank, or the Philadelphia Housing and Development Corporation, all under certain terms and conditions. Lastly, Bill number 250484, introduced by Councilmember Baz, authorizing the Commissioner of Public Property on behalf of the City of Philadelphia to acquire a fee simple title or lesser real estate interest in and to all or a portion of the property known as 1822-1830 West Cayuga Street, all under certain terms and conditions. There's no other bills on the agenda, Madam Chair.
Will the clerk please call the first panel to testify on Bill number 250426?
The witness to testify on this bill today is Joseph Brasky, Commissioner of Public Property.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Please state your name for the record and begin with your testimony.
Joseph Brasky, Department of Public Property Commissioner. Good afternoon, Chairperson Lozada. Is the mic working? You good? Good afternoon, Chairperson Lozada and members of the Committee of Public Property and Public Works. My name is Joe Brasky. I'm the Commissioner of Public Property. I'm here to testify in support of Bill number 250426, authorizing the Department of Public Property on behalf of the City of Philadelphia to convey a simple title and lesser real estate interest in all or portion of the property of Cobb Creek Park bordering City Avenue, Delaware County, and Cobbs Creek Golf Course bordering City Avenue in Philadelphia County, all under certain terms and conditions. This bill will allow for an easement to be granted to PennDOT as it relates to the Commonwealth's right-of-way or right of passage regarding city-owned land on which PennDOT may or may not seek to improve. Considerations for this easement will be considered after PennDOT presents terms normally included in its pre-condemnation offer, which will need to be reviewed by the city and eventually found to be fair and reasonable. The proceeds from the potential sale would be deposited into the city's general fund. The Department of Public Property supports this measure, and accordingly, I respectfully ask that City Council approve Bill 250426. Thank you. I will be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Are there any questions from members of this committee for this witness? Seeing none, is there anyone else in chamber here to testify on this bill? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony. Will the clerk please call the next witness to testify on bill number 250485?
The witness to testify on this bill is also Joseph Brasky, Commissioner of Public Property.
Good afternoon, Chairperson Lozada and members of the Committee of Public Property and Public Works. My name is Joe Brasky, Commissioner of Public Property. I'm here today to testify in support of Bill 250485, authorizing the Department of Public Property on behalf of the City of Philadelphia to acquire a fee title or a lesser interest of real estate located on East Roosevelt Boulevard in the vicinity of Langdon, known as Friends Campus, for the development, occupancy, and operation of the health center and enter into related agreements, all under certain terms and conditions. Located on the beautifully landscaped Friends Campus, the proposed health center would be approximately 55,000 square foot and would accommodate approximately 30,000 patients per year. The site offers the rare ability to provide plenty of parking and is located to SEPTA's Langdon bus stop and which currently serves 3 routes. The design of the proposed new health center incorporates the existing landscaping and complements the other buildings located on the historically recognized campus. The project design even includes adding walking trails for patients and families, local walking groups, and all Philadelphians to enjoy. The health services offered by the City Department of Public Health, as the locations are expected to include adult and pediatric care, family planning, vaccines for children, dental lab, pharmacy, x-ray and mammography, behavioral health, physical therapy, and many more healthcare-related services and resources to be made available. This area of the city has gaps in the primary care access, and a new health center would offer all city residents, whether they have insurance or not, more health-related services and shorter waiting times for appointments. The opportunity to develop and occupy a brand-new health center that would provide access to quality, comprehensive primary care in the area of the city in need is the opportunity Bill number 250485 presents. The fact that the location would be a beautiful historic Friends campus is a welcome bonus. The Department of Public Property supports this measure, and accordingly, I respectfully ask that City Council approve Bill number 250485. Thank you. I will be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you for your testimony. One very quick question. When I arrived here in 2022, this particular project, along with the other project that is at the Frankfurt Transportation Center, was a challenge to community residents. Have we worked through what all of those challenges are as it relates to the concerns that residents had? I know there were some questions about historical designation. Where are we in that process?
I wasn't around in 2022, but I've been learning more and more about the project, and I've been finding who was involved in the initial project. I believe if health is here, if they want to comment or, discuss what was going on, they'd be more than happy.
Thank you for being with us this afternoon.
Sure.
Please state your name for the record and begin with
Sure. Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Palak Ravel Nelson, the Health Commissioner, and I have here with me Sarah Ennis, our Deputy Commissioner / Chief of Staff. So we can go ahead and answer those questions. I'll let Sarah take the lead.
Sure, thank you. So in 2023 and 2024, we did embark, Councilmember Lozada, with you and your office to do a series of community meetings in which we laid out our plans for this health center, as well as heard some of the concerns. When we submitted our historical commission submission for the Friends campus, that was approved, and subsequently there was an appeal. And I think we're on our last layer of appeal that's still being adjudicated in the court, but we expect to have an answer on that relatively soon, and I believe that it is expected to sort of go in the favor of the building of this project.
And for the record, are there plans to continue the conversation with community residents as the project moves along?
Yes, ma'am. And, sorry, the other concerns that were raised during the series of, I want to say, 8 or 9 community meetings that were had, those have been addressed. So we will continue the conversations as needed.
One of the, I think, major community engagement projects that we're going to undertake as this project gets developed is some type of planning for a community garden or community space reusing some of the brick from the Lawnside building, which is the historic building on the Friends campus that is scheduled to be demolished for this project. And so there's been, I think we've talked about several iterations or possibilities of doing this, but that's certainly very much on our agenda.
And then for the record, I'd like to make sure that we put on the record the conversations or the concerns from community residents as it relates to traffic, right? Many of the residents, just about in all of the meetings that we had about 5 different meetings, the concerns about traffic safety was discussed. Do we think that we are in a much better place as it relates to traffic? Have we been able to respond to communities? And if so, I'd like to put that on the record.
Yes, ma'am. We are in a better place. A lot of the questions that were raised during the community meetings have been continued to be addressed. We can get council more details about the specifics if you'd like.
Thank you. Are there any questions from members of this committee? No.
Thank you.
so much. Thank you. Is there anyone else in the chamber that is here to testify on behalf of this bill? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the first witness to testify on bill number 250486?
The witness to testify on this bill today is Joseph Brasky, Commissioner of Public Property.
Good afternoon, Chairperson Lozada, and members of the Committee of Public Property and Public Works. My name is Joe Brasky, I'm Commissioner of Public Property. I'm here today to testify in support of Bill number 250486, authorizing the Department of Public Property on behalf of the City of Philadelphia to enter into agreements for the development of a mixed-use condominium health center facility on the premises located on Frankfurt Ave in the vicinity of Pratt Street and Dyer Street. The proposed health center for the Penn Fruit Company site, which sits opposite the Frankfurt Transportation Center, would access the significant need for additional health care access in the lower northeast Philadelphia. Our city health centers offer comprehensive primary and supportive health services to the Philadelphians regardless of age, insurance status, or their ability to pay. The city's Department of Health intends to offer a variety of service at this location as well, including primary care for adults and children, women's health services, podiatry, pharmacy lab, dental, radiology, integrated behavioral services, and other healthcare-related services and resources necessary for quality of life and overall health. Built in 1955, the iconic former Penn Fruit Company supermarket remains minimally altered from its original design 70 years ago. The historical character of the building, coupled with the ideal physical location of the parcel, creates a site location primed for a brand-new, community-driven, mixed-use development project. The proposed project would include the new City Health Center, a new supermarket, and new residential units located throughout the property. The construction of the proposed project is expected to create over 100 jobs, and together the new supermarket and health center are expected to create over 70 permanent jobs. The project would bring affordable apartments, helping to address rising residential rents, while promoting growth and development throughout the commercial corridor. Additionally, the site is located next to a major transportation hub that is easily recognizable to the Philadelphians across the city. The proposed mixed-use development project, which would address needs beyond healthcare, including an increase in food distribution and affordable apartments, could transcend the neighborhood and create a lasting impact on community. The Department of Public Property supports this measure, and accordingly, I respectfully ask that City Council approve Bill number 250486. Thank you. I would be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you for your testimony. Are there any questions from members of the committee? Is there anyone else in chamber? Is there anyone else in chamber that is here to testify on this bill? I think you got, are they here for public comment?
Their names are signed up for public comment. I have various names. If you guys wanted to provide your testimony during public comment, you could.
If you just hang tight, because I think they have you listed for public in the public comment section. Yes. Thank you so much for being with us. There being no others to testify on this bill, will the clerk please read the list of witnesses here to testify on bill number 250433?
The witness to testify on this bill today is Joseph Brasky, Commissioner of Public Property.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Chairperson Lozada and members of the Committee of Public Property and Public Works. My name is Joe Brasky. I'm the Commissioner of Public Property. I'm here today to testify in support of Bill 250433, authorizing the Department of Public Property on behalf of the City of Philadelphia to enter in a sublease agreement with the Philadelphia Municipal Authority for use by the city of the premises located 1601 to 29 JFK Boulevard, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, under certain terms and conditions. The city's Department of Human Services has called the 10th floor of One Penner Center home since 2014. Since 2022, the city's Offices of Community Empowerment and Opportunity has called the 18th floor home. If Bill number 250433 is authorized and passed by City Council, the city's Capital Programs Office would be able to call the 14th floor of One Penn Center home for the next 15 years. The passage of the bill would give all the three departments ability to be grouped together under one 56,599 square foot public property lease. Consolidating into one lease and extending long-term brings financial incentives to the city, such as turnkey customized fit-out for CPO and a significant tenant improvement allowance package for both DHS and CEO. Located directly above the suburban station, One Penn Center provides city employees a preferred location near the triplex. The building also offers recently renovated corridors, a brand new main lobby, new restrooms, new elevators throughout the building common areas. The current office market provided the city the opportunity to receive brand new Class A office space from a familiar long-term landlord at a discounted rate. The Department of Public Property supports this measure, and accordingly, I respectfully, the City Council approved Bill number 250433. Thank you. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you for your testimony. Are there any questions from members of this committee? I think my only question would be, how will the consolidation of this lease improve or support the operational efficiency of DHS, CEO, and capital programs?
Just by keeping them together in one building, as far as, instead of running out or if their lease ends, just to keep them under one footprint. And then by adding capital projects, as it's going to help them work together. I'm not exactly sure of the programs in here, but I can find out information on DHS and CEO. But it seems to be they were put there for maybe a certain unit or something, so I could find out more details on that for you. But as far as CPO moving over, that would bring them from within 3 or 4 buildings into one department to work together.
Thank you. Is there anyone here to testify on behalf of this bill? There being none, will the clerk please call the first witness to testify on bill number 250492?
The first witness to testify on this bill is Susan Slauson, the Commissioner of the Department of Parks and Recreation.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Please state your name for the record and begin with your testimony.
Good afternoon, Chair Lozada and Vice Chair Squilla and members of the Committee of Public Property and Public Works. My name is Susan Slauson, Commissioner of Philadelphia Parks and Recreation. I'm honored to speak today in strong support of Bill number 250492, which seeks approval for a multi-year concession agreement with German American Marketing, Inc., a local certified business entity doing business as Christmas Village in Philadelphia. A multi-year agreement will help ensure the continued operation of this cherished holiday market at Love Park and City Hall. Christmas Village has become an integral part of the city's holiday tradition, attracting visitors from the region and across the country. Modeled after traditional German markets, it blends international tradition with local flavor, drawing over 1 million visitors annually, creating jobs and fueling local commerce through support for small businesses, artisans, and vendors. This bill extends the current concession agreement for 5 years and 38 days, allowing the concessionaire to invest in an event infrastructure, accessibility upgrades, and programming enhancements. The concessionaire has consistently exceeded the city's OEO participation goals by prioritizing services and vendor opportunities for minority and women-owned businesses. In 2024, 18.5% of venue-related spending went to MBE, WBE-owned companies. Of the 107 vendors, 70% were minority or women-owned, with 46% identifying as MBE. This surpasses the city's 15 to 20% target and builds on steady growth. Since 2019, MBE participation has increased by 84%. Several new initiatives have been amplified the event's positive economic and social impact. Since 2021, Parks and Recreation and the Commerce Department have partnered to create free vending opportunities at Christmas Village for small, early-stage businesses. Over the past 4 seasons, more than 60 local vendors have been able to participate, many of whom would not have otherwise had access to this kind of retail environment. The concessionaire provided these booths to the city at cost, reflecting a strong ongoing commitment to supporting Philadelphia-based businesses, especially those historically underrepresented in the holiday retail market. In response to Parks and Recreation's request to activate the Welcome Center building in Love Park, the concessionaire partnered with CHOP to launch the Festival of Trees in 2023, which returned in 2024, transforming what might otherwise be a temporarily empty space into a hub of holiday magic while raising more than $100,000 for pediatric care. Accessibility is another priority. The concessionaire has worked diligently to address ADA issues, including vendor booth accessibility and cord safety, demonstrating a genuine commitment to inclusion. Something important to note is that the city has no obligation to support the management and operation of Christmas Village. The concessionaire assumes all financial responsibility. I respectfully ask your support of Bill 250492. This partnership ensures Christmas Village remains a vibrant, inclusive celebration that reflects the best of our city, supports our small businesses, and brings holiday joy to residents and visitors alike. I'd like to thank Councilmember Jeffrey Young for his support of this initiative and City Council for its continued leadership in supporting Philadelphia's public spaces and economic equity. Thank you, and I'm here, and I have support if you have questions that I can't answer.
Thank you. I do have 2 questions that I received from a constituent that called us. Number 1, was this process RFP'd out? How is this person selected to be able to manage, or how do they get the contract to be the person selected to manage Christmas Village?
This was initially put out as an RFP, and Katie, it was initially put out as an RFP, so they went through the city's process, and they were chosen to be the ones that ran the Christmas Village.
And when is the RFP put out? When was the RFP put out?
This is Katie Burns Kay, who is the Development Business Manager for Parks and Recreation. Thank you.
So the original RFP was 2020 and 2021 with some pandemic-related ties to that. And so what this would be an extension for 5 years onto that existing RFP agreement, and otherwise it would be up for going through the process right now.
And how do they select who are the small businesses that are represented in the Christmas Village?
So the vendors go through a now increasingly competitive process, and so they are reviewed based off of what they are selling and the goods and services for the holistic, that's the 107 vendors that we cited here. Separately, the Commerce Department partnership, we purchase at cost 3 booths from Christmas Village, and then the Commerce Department runs a grant application program there that CDCs are able to apply to and then are granted, and then the businesses, the small stage businesses, are affiliated with the CDCs that win that grant.
And when some of those businesses fail to follow, I'm going to assume, protocols, what is the course of action that is taken, and who creates those protocols of what has to be followed? I'm getting to this. There's apparently some small businesses that participated through this Commerce grant, and the person who operates the Christmas Village was not very respectful to them during their experience last year. And so the question is, you know, they're Philadelphians, there's businesses in Philadelphia, they live here. We're bringing someone from out of town to manage this space that then determines whether they can come back or not. Who makes that determination?
So if they were part of the Commerce program, they'd be don't go directly through the Commerce piece, but I would happily share my contact information with them if they had a poor experience. It's possible that it was a staff member or another representative of the of Christmas Village in the timing pieces of that. But if they were part of the Commerce program, they would go through the CDC and then the Commerce partnership for this. And then we can direct them for other interest in relation to vending at Christmas Village.
Okay, thank you. I'll have them follow up. Are there other questions from members of the committee? No. There being none, will the clerk please, is there anyone else here to testify on this bill? There being none, will the clerk please call the first witness to testify on bill number 250434?
We do have one more testimony for 250492 from Thomas Buer, the president of German American Marketing. He's unable to make it today, so I'll read his testimony for the record. Good afternoon, Chair Lozada, Vice Chair Squilla, and members of the committee. My name is Thomas Buer, and I am the owner and president of German American Marketing Incorporated, a certified local business entity based in Philadelphia. I am proud to appear before you today in support of Bill number 250492, which authorizes a 5-year and 38-day renewal of the concession agreement for Christmas Village in Philadelphia at Love Park. The 5-year renewal gives us the stability needed to continue reinvesting in the event in our community. We have consistently partnered with the city and the Center City District to enhance the holiday experience, adding amusement rides and charitable initiatives like the Festival of Trees in the Love Park Welcome Center, which benefits CHOP. We operate from mid-November through December 24th, open daily from 12 to 8 p.m. In the past 3 years alone, we've invested over $1 million in upgraded vendor structures and event infrastructure. In 2025, we plan to introduce a new, in quote, Christmas pyramid centerpiece at an additional investment of $200,000. We also cover all park repairs post-event on top of license and sponsorship fees. During the pandemic, we remained open at the city's request, adapting to the public health protocols despite significant financial losses, underscoring our dedication to the city and its residents. We are proud to offer accessible business opportunities, seasonal jobs, and a beloved cultural experience in the heart of Philadelphia. With your support, we will continue building on this success for years to come. Thank you for your time and consideration. I welcome any questions. There's no more testimonies for this bill, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Will the clerk now read the name of the first witness to testify on bill number 250434?
Joseph Brasky, Commissioner of Public Property, will be testifying on this bill today.
Good afternoon, Chairperson Lozada and members of the Committee of Public Property and Public Works. My name is Joe Brasky. I'm the Commissioner of Public Property. I'm here today to testify in support of Bill number 250434, authorizing the Department of Public Property on behalf of the City of Philadelphia to enter into a lease agreement for the use of all or a portion of the city-owned underground area commonly known as Broad Street Subconcourse North. That neighbors the basement for the Municipal Services Building, under which the operator will maintain and operate the space to provide services to the community of house persons under certain terms and conditions. In January of 2018, Public Property and Podrick Home executed a lease agreement for a new engagement center in Suburban Station called Hub of Hope. Designed to offer day-to-day basic necessities to the city's most vulnerable, the Hub of Hope services include laundry facilities, medical care assessments and referrals, counseling, and other behavioral health services, all while maintaining the bigger role of helping each individual find a more permanent living situation. For the Hub of Hope project, the city partnered with the Project Home and SEPTA. The two organizations involved over the first 7 years can proudly state that the Hub of Hope has been a success. Each year, the Hub of Hope receives more than 30,000 visits, serves more than 20,000 meals, helps facilitate the taking of more than 6,000 showers, and achieves more than 2,000 loads of laundry washed. Project Home has been operating under a year-to-year lease agreement with the city in 2018. In order for Project Home to receive financing for additional capital improvements, Project Home has requested a new long-term lease from the city so they can amortize the cost of the course of the base term. If approved by City Council, the new lease agreement with Project Home would simply change from year-to-year lease to a 10-year lease agreement. The Department of Public Property supports this measure, and accordingly, I respectfully ask that City Council approve Bill 250434. Thank you. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you for your testimony. Are there any questions on behalf of the committees, members of this committee? There being none, is there anyone in chambers that is here to testify on behalf of this bill? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the first witness to testify on Bill number 250435?
Joseph Brasky, Commissioner of Public Property, will be testifying on this bill today.
Good afternoon, Chairperson Lozada and members of the Committee of Public Property and Public Works. My name is Joe Brasky. I'm the Commissioner of Public Property. I'm here today to testify in support of Bill 250435, authorizing the Department of Public Property on behalf of the City of Philadelphia to enter into a lease agreement with Holmesburg Fish and Game Protective Association for use of all the portion of city property bounded by Pennypack Creek, the Delaware River, Pennypack Street, State Road in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, under certain terms and conditions. Holmesburg Fish and Game Protective Association, Inc. has been the city's tenant since 1985, and the facility has served as the only outdoor shooting range open to the public dating back to 1930. In addition to serving the members of the shooting sports clubs and general public, the indoor and outdoor gun ranges also serve the police and correction officers of the Philadelphia Police Department and the Philadelphia Department of Prisons and Sheriff's Department. Over the years, the gun club has funded and managed the construction of the structures found on city-owned land today. Recently, the club has interested in pursuing additional capital improvements on site, but has run into challenges with financing these improvements due to their current lease situation with the city. The club has always operated under a year-to-year lease agreement with the city. In order to receive the financing needed for capital improvements, the club's lender has requested a new long-term lease so they can amortize the cost of the course of the base term. As such, Holmesburg Fish and Game Protective Association is seeking a new lease agreement with the city. If approved by the City Council, the lease would change from a year-to-year lease to a 10-year lease. That would include 2 5-year renewal options. The Department of Public Property supports this measure, and accordingly, I respectfully ask that the City Council approve Bill 250435. Thank you. I will be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you for your testimony. Are there any questions for this witness on behalf of the committee? Is there anyone here who is here to testify on behalf of this bill? There being none, will the clerk please call the first witness to testify on bill number 250440?
Joseph Brasky, Commissioner of Public Property, will be testifying on this bill today.
Good afternoon, Chairperson Lozada, members of the Committee of Public Property and Public Works. My name is Joe Brasky. I am Commissioner of Public Property. I'm here today to testify in support of Bill number 250440, authorizing the Department of Public Property on behalf of the City of Philadelphia to enter into a lease agreement with Southeastern Pennsylvania Transportation Authority for use by the city for a portion of the premises located at 1234 Market Street, Philadelphia, PA 19107, under certain terms and conditions. Since 2014, the City of Philadelphia's Office of Innovation and Technology has been located on the 15th and 18th floors of 1234 Market, the building commonly known as SEPTA headquarters. OIT has its 24/7 central data center located on the 18th floor of the building, which provides the city internet network and cybersecurity services utilized every day by city employees in every department. The building offers a unique electrical power required by the data center to host a broad range of systems and applications on multiple platforms. The importance of OIT's central data center, including the required capital improvements that came with it, cannot be understated. Because of this, SEPTA and the city should anticipate a long-term relationship as landlord and tenant for many years to come. Since OIT is expected to remain at this location for the foreseeable future, OIT and DPP have remained informed regarding the amount of space available in the building ever since OIT took occupancy. Until very recently, 1234 Market Street has always been fully occupied, preventing space in the building preventing OIT from even having the option to expand its footprint in the building. Luckily, not only has space in the building recently become available, but the space available is located on 18th floor near the Central Data Center. If approved by City Council, Bill 250440 would allow DPP on behalf of OIT to lease an additional 13,750 square feet of office space and give OIT an exclusive use of the entire 18th floor long-term. The Department of Public Property supports this measure, and accordingly, I respectfully ask the City Council approve Bill 250440. Thank you. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you for your testimony. Are there any questions on behalf of this committee for this witness? Is there anyone in chambers that is here to testify on this bill? There being none, will the clerk please call the first witness to testify on bill number 250441?
Joseph Brasky, Commissioner of Public Property, will be testifying on this bill today.
That's 441, correct? Thank you.
441.
Good afternoon, Chairperson Lozada and members of the Committee of Public Property and Public Works. My name is Joe Brasky. I am the Commissioner of Public Property. I'm here today to testify in support of Bill number 250441, authorizing the Department of Public Property on behalf of the City of Philadelphia to enter into a lease agreement, the New Market Head House Conservancy for use of all the portion of city-owned premises commonly known as Head House and Shambles and Head House Square, located along 2nd Street between Pine and Lombard Streets in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, for the public benefit under certain terms and conditions. Built in 1745, the Head House and Shambles on 2nd Street became a very popular 18th century open market area with the heart of a marketplace being located in 2 blocks between Pine Street and South Street. The 2-block historical designation remains one of our nation's oldest yet still active farmers market today. If you were to walk down 2nd Street this Saturday, you would still find a popular food market. You may find other interesting events, gatherings, festivals happening throughout the summer in Head House Square. 280 years after being built, the Head House Shambles is not just an area of local historical significance. It has become a staple of Philadelphia. Because of this, the proper care and proactive maintenance of the property should remain a high priority to the city and the stakeholders interested in continuing the remarkable longevity of Head House Shambles. 2 years ago, Public Property and the Conservancy engaged John Miller Architects, seeking a full conditions assessment specifically for the Head House Shambles portion of the Head House Square. The assessment was completed in 2024, and the report has been thoroughly reviewed by both City and the Conservancy. Having a much better understanding of improvements the project will require, the City and the Conservancy agreed to a principle to form a partnership geared toward a full remediation of the Head House and Shambles with the goal of significantly extending the life expectancy of the property. In this arrangement, the city would fund the capital improvements and the Conservancy would oversee the work. Both parties share the same expectations and understand the importance of remediating the current conditions of substantially completion as specifically defined by Milner Report. This means the proper and full restoration of the Head House Shambles property. Upon full restoration of the property, Conservancy would transition to being the city's long-term tenant with the Head House and Shambles as its premise. The Conservancy would be tasked with proactively providing specialized maintenancing the property requires over the term, as well as additional responsibilities, including managing the various private and public events, wedding venue rentals, and other hospitality services the Head House and Shambles continues to offer. Department of Public Property supports this measure, and accordingly, I respectfully ask the City Council approves Bill number 250441. Thank you. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you for your testimony. The chair recognizes Councilmember Mark Squilla.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Commissioner Brasky. I also want to thank Patrick Livingston for his hard work to get this lease done. And just a quick question, because looking at the resolution, the ordinance, the lease goes from Pine to Lombard, the section of the Head House.
Yes,
correct?
and there was another part that was in question that we were looking into.
Right, but this is the lease for this.
Yes, this is the Head House and all the way down.
Well, it doesn't go to south.
No, not to south,
right.
no.
Lombard to
Yep.
Pine. Okay, thank you, that's all I need.
No problem, thank you.
Thank you for your help.
Any other questions from members of this committee? There being none, is there anyone else in chambers that is here to testify on this bill? There being none, Will the clerk please read the title of, or the name of the witness that is here to testify on Bill number 250483?
Joseph Brasky, Commissioner of Public Property, will be testifying on this bill today.
Is that 483? Or is that, yeah, that's what I thought.
483.
How you doing?
Good afternoon. Chairperson Lozada and members of the Committee of the Public Property and Public Works. My name is Sarah Clark Stewart, and I'm the Trails and Transportation Manager for the Department of Streets, and I am testifying in support of Bill number 250483, introduced by Councilmember Catherine Gilmore Richardson for President Johnson. Bill number 250483 allows the City of Philadelphia to receive parcels from the Philadelphia Redevelopment Authority, the Philadelphia Land Bank, and the Philadelphia Housing and Development Corporation for purposes of building the Cobbs Creek Trail Extension in the Eastwick neighborhood. The bill provides authorization for two purposes: to clear up title of the Chabadi Recreation Center. PRA is currently the record owner, but it is an active recreation site, and to acquire property needed for a trail project. Upon completion of construction of the Cobbs Creek Trail Extension, these parcels will be operated and maintained by the Philadelphia Streets Department and the Department of Parks and Recreation. The Department of Streets supports Bill number 250483, and this concludes my testimony. I'm happy to respond to any questions. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Are there any questions from members of the committee? There being none, is there anyone in chambers that is here to testify on this bill? Thank you for being with us this afternoon. Will the clerk please call the first witness to testify on Bill number 250484?
Joseph Brasky, Commissioner of Public Property, will be testifying on the last bill for today.
Good afternoon, Chairperson Lozada and members of Committee on Public Property and Public Works. My name is Joe Brasky. I'm the Commissioner of Public Property. I'm here today to testify on Bill number 250484, authorizing the Department of Public Property on behalf of the City of Philadelphia to acquire fee simple title and lease a real estate interest in all of the portion of the property known as 1822 to 1830 West Cayuga Street, all under certain terms and conditions. Philadelphia Water Department and Public Property have been working together since 2012 to identify surplus vacant lots that could be permanently used as green stormwater infrastructure sites to meet the stormwater mandates provided by the Commonwealth's Department of Environmental Protection. PWD has been exploring the 1800 block of West Cayuga Street located adjacent to Nicetown Park and as a potential location for a stormwater management system that could be installed within the next 2 years. The public property already owns a portion of the needed parcels located at 1800 to 1860 West Cayuga Street. However, the remaining parcels located at 1822 to 1830 West Cayuga Street were conveyed by public property to the Philadelphia Redevelopment Authority back in 1967. If Bill number 250484 is authorized by City Council, PRA is ready to convey the 1822 to 1830 parcels back to public property for a nominal purchase price for $1. PWD has agreed to manage and maintain the site upon conveyance, as well as oversee the installation of the new stormwater infrastructure system. Additionally, PWD has agreed to work with the council member's office, Nicetown CDC, and Parks and Recreation, as these parcels being back in city inventory could create new opportunities for Nicetown Park and the community in the near future. The Department of Public Property supports this measure, and accordingly, I respectfully ask that City Council approve Bill 250484. Thank you. I will be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you for your testimony. Are there any questions from members of the committee for this witness? There being none, is there anyone in chambers that is here to testify on behalf of this bill? There being none, will the clerk please call any other witnesses on any of the bills on today's agenda? Okay. Hearing none, we will now transition to public comment. Will the clerk please call Any member of the public present to comment on any of the bills heard today?
The first person to provide public comment will be Blaine Stoddard.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and other members of the committee. My name is Blaine Stoddard. I run a company called BFW, Construction Project Management, and we are the owner's representatives for the Frankfurt CDC on the project for bill number 250486. The bill authorizes the Commissioner of Health and the Commissioner of Public Property to enter into an agreement with PIDC, for the development of a mixed-use condo, which will house the City Health Center at Bridge and Pratt. What was not said was that this authorization allows us to build an amazing mixed-use complex as a TOD, a transportation-oriented development. We will have not only the health center, we will have 132 units of affordable housing, which is in line with the city's goals, and we'll also have a supermarket in a health desert and a food desert in Frankfurt. As you know, a lot's been going on in Frankfurt and neighboring Kensington, and there's a lot of needs up there for the people of those community. I was talking at the Frankfurt breakfast, Madam Chair and council members, and what I said was, I live in a nice neighborhood, and if I come out of my house, in every direction is a healthcare center or a urgent care center. But if you live in Frankfurt, where do you go? And so this $85 million project, I'm getting excited, will create over 150, probably 200 construction jobs, Councilman Squilla, and 100 permanent jobs in a poor neighborhood. This is the kind of economic development that this city needs. This development, which is being put on by Frankfurt CDC and Mosaic, is one of the largest economic development projects put on by a CDC and a private company in the city of Philadelphia right now. Other than PHA, Philadelphia Housing Authority, nothing is this impactful in any district. And so, I know one of my council persons is a planner, is a city planner. This is what we need, where people, in terms of sustainability, you can take public transportation, and on your way home, you can get your shots, your COVID shots, and buy some food, all in the same place. I urge this committee, and I've worked with every one of you, probably except Councilman Driscoll. I urge you to not only support this measure, but there are other enabling measures that we will probably come back to this committee and to City Council to move this most significant project in the lower Northeast. Thank you very much. Do you have any questions for me?
Are there any questions from members of this committee? There being none, thank you so much for being with us this afternoon. Are there other members of the public that are here to testify on any of the bills here today?
Yes, Ellie Devi Taken, I'm so sorry if I said your name wrong. She's next to testify today.
Welcome, thank you for being with us today. Please state your name for the record and begin with your testimony.
Thank you. My name is Ellie Devyatkin. Blaine's a tough act to follow, but I'll try. Good afternoon, committee. Committee Chair Lozada, and members Gautier, Harity, Driscoll, and Vice Chair Squilla. Thank you for allowing me to be here today to speak in support of Bill number 250486, which, as you know, is an ordinance to allow for the Philadelphia Department of Public Health to enter into an agreement for the development of a new city health center as part of a larger transit-oriented development in Frankfurt. The new City Health Center facility mentioned is a major component of the Frankfurt TOD development, which, in addition to a new 40,000 square foot health center, will include a 20,000 square foot supermarket and 132 units of affordable housing. This project's roots date back to 2015, when the Frankfurt CDC was informed by the Holiday Thriftway Market at Frankfurt and Pratt would be closing. After it closed in 2016, the Frankfurt neighborhood was left without a supermarket and has been a food desert since then. Over the next few years, Frankfurt CDC worked diligently to gain site control of the vacant supermarket building. Additionally, during COVID, the adjacent Wells Fargo branch closed and never reopened, and Frankfurt CDC was also able to get that property donated. We've been able to combine those parcels. It was around this time that we discovered that the Philadelphia Department of Public Health was exploring options to build a new health center to increase access and decrease wait times, particularly for clients in Northeast and Lower Northeast Philadelphia. Working with the Managing Director's Office, Public Property, and the Health Department, our development team was able to make a 40,000 square foot health center part of the project. As I'm sure you're well aware, average wait times for scheduling appointments at city health centers are unacceptably long, particularly at Health Center 10 on Cottman Avenue, where wait times are over 1 year for new adult visits and over 6 months for new pediatric visits. Additionally, based on the 2019 Philadelphia Department of Public Health rankings of 46 neighborhoods, Frankfurt ranked 42nd in health outcomes and 43rd in health factors. Access to affordable health care is critical, and not just in Frankfurt. That is why the city's Philadelphia 2035 plan, the area around Frankfurt Transportation Center, has been identified as an ideal location for a new healthcare facility due to the area's connectivity to mass transit. Frankfurt Transit Center, commonly still called Bridge and Pratt, or simply the terminal in the neighborhood, is one of the busiest transit centers in Philadelphia. Before COVID, it was serving an average of 41,000 customers daily. Since COVID, based on SEPTA's recovery rate of 75%, it's serving over 30,000 customers daily. FTC is served by the Market Frankfurt line and 17 bus or trackless trolley routes, making the site easy to access via public transit, whether coming from points north, west, or south. The new City Health Center at this location meets both the needs of the Department of Public Health and the needs of Frankfurt, the Lower Northeast, and beyond. The ordinance would authorize up to $21 million to be used toward the construction of this new health center. And while that might sound like a lot, and in some ways it is, that funding is leveraging numerous other funding sources for the project as a whole, and is likely considerably less than it would cost as a standalone endeavor. This project has been funded so far by a combination of city, state, and federal grants, as well as tax credits and philanthropic funds totaling over $8.5 million. Importantly, this project will be funded by over $30 million in federal tax credits, between New Markets tax credits and low-income housing tax credits. There have been hurdles to overcome, but the project is now at the point of going out to bid and applying for building permits. At this point, every funding source needs to be accounted for, or all the partners, including the Philadelphia Department of Public Health, risk the opportunity to leverage millions of additional dollars towards this project. Almost more importantly, though, is the impact that this project will have, and the new City Health Center is a key component of that. We're talking affordable housing, real affordable housing, with some units reserved for households at or under 20% of the area median income. We're talking fresh food in a food desert. We're talking affordable quality health care in a primary care desert. And all of that right across from one of the busiest transit centers in the city. And that's not all. Jobs, over 100 construction jobs, 25 permanent supermarket jobs, 50 permanent health center jobs. Not to mention, we're returning a large, vacant, blighted parcel to active, productive use that will directly serve not only the Frankfurt neighborhood, but neighboring communities as well, and indirectly will benefit the surrounding businesses with increased foot traffic, boosting business and improving safety. This project, affordable housing, a supermarket, and a health center will be a major economic driver on a commercial corridor that has been struggling for decades. You're investing in the health and future of Philadelphia. $21 million toward a new health center isn't just $21 million toward a new health center. It's the health of your neighbors, your constituents, Philadelphia's youth, its jobs, its real affordable housing, and it's proving that you care about all Philadelphia neighborhoods. Bill number 250486 is a step toward this future. Thank you again, and if you have any questions.
Thank you for your testimony, and I just want to make sure that I note for the record how grateful I am for the Frankfurt CDC and the team, the Mosaic team, and everyone involved in ensuring that both of these projects actually move ahead. I know that that we had some challenging times, right, at getting to this point. But I have to say that the work and the commitment of the Frankfurt CDC, a very small CDC with very few employees, have taken on this challenge and have really made it a point to ensure that community residents have been a part of the conversation since the very beginning. And I'm excited to see how a project like this one, in collaboration with the Friends Hospital Campus Health Center, will transform this neighborhood and will bring the much-needed resources into the 19124 zip code, right? A zip code, like you mentioned, where there is a housing crisis, there is a food desert. All of our pharmacies have gone away, right? And so having a patient be able to make an appointment within a reasonable period of time means that that person will be able to be healthier, live longer, and be able to get their medication immediately after seeing their primary doctor or their specialty physician. And so I just want to say that I'm grateful for the work of Scattergood, the health department, the Frankfurt CDC, Mosaic, and all of the team for all of the work that you all have done to get us to this point. Thank you so much. Are there questions from members of this committee for this witness? No. Thank you so much for being with us today. Will the clerk please call the next witness to testify?
Marie Sorbier is next to testify.
Hello, good afternoon, council members. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak. My name is Maria Sauerbier. I am the Executive Vice President of Mosaic Development Partners, and we are partnered with Frankfurt CDC on the development of 5113 Frankfurt Avenue. I am here to express my strong support of Bill number 250486, introduced by Councilmember Lozada. This bill represents a meaningful and forward-thinking investment in the health, stability, and revitalization of the Frankfurt community. The authorization to enter into this agreement will facilitate the development of a new mixed-income project anchored by the City of Philadelphia Health Center, paired with a grocery store and 132 affordable residential units. In my opinion, this is a smart use of public-private partnership and one that produces a valuable addition to the Frankfurt community. Our communities deserve health centers that are accessible, like the one adjacent to the Frankfurt station, modern and integrated into the neighborhoods they serve. This project will create a 40,000 square foot space where families can access preventative care, where chronic conditions can be managed with easy public transit access. Locating the health center within a mixed-use development supports walkability, vibrancy, and economic impact for a corridor that has long needed this kind of intentional investment. And the City of Philadelphia's Philadelphia 2035 plan identifies this location as the ideal spot for a new health facility. This project is a prime example of how Philadelphia can leverage city, state, and federal dollars in strategic and impactful ways, collaborating with PIDC, utilizing a long-term lease, and allowing for alternative ownership structures demonstrates responsible stewardship of public resources while positioning the city to retain long-term value and control. The passage of this bill will unlock a $30 million allocation of new market tax credits, which is critical financing that will help bring this health center and mixed-use facility to life. The financial structure of this project reflects the city's foresight, creativity, and proactive ability to work with the private sector to create complex deals done, to get complex deals done, as well as their ability to support the multi-layered resources needed to meet real community needs and get this project to the finish line. Today, this bill gives us a chance to deliver on the principles of access and equity. I respectfully urge the council to advance Bill 250486 so we can move this critical project forward for the health and well-being of residents in Frankfurt and across the city. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Are there any questions from members of this committee for this witness? Thank you for being with us. Are there any witnesses? Are there any additional witnesses for public comment on these bills for today?
Yes, Jennifer Powell Folks is here, our last witness to testify on this bill today.
Thank you for being with us. Please state your name for the record and begin with your testimony.
I feel like I'm in the big boys chair, okay? All right. Good afternoon, esteemed honors of council. I wish to give you a good afternoon to the city council members of the Committee of the Public Property and Public Works. My name is Jennifer Powell Folks, and I am a longtime resident of Frankfurt, of the Frankfurt community. I am a parent, a wife, and the founder of the Frankfurt Coalition of Neighbors, who sponsors the annual MLK volunteer breakfast in that community, as well as a member of the Division of Housing and Community Development, recognized Frankfurt Neighborhood Advisory Committee. I am also a member and an officer of the historic Campbell AME Church, the second oldest AME church in the congregation internationally, dating back to 1812. Yes, 200 plus years old is my congregation and its cemetery. I am here to testify in support of Bill 250486, which addresses an opportunity to create a city health center at the site that formerly housed the Frankfurt Thriftway at Frankfurt Avenue and Pratt Street. The Frankfurt community has been one in transition for over 30 years. And as long as I have been a resident, in my multiple roles as a community stakeholder, as a committed community stakeholder, this transition has exposed a dearth of affordable healthcare options for residents. Philadelphia City Health Centers play an important role in servicing our very low, and moderate income, as well as uninsured and underinsured families in Philadelphia who have health-related service insecurities, which have resulted in vast healthcare disparities. These residents generally are unable to afford primary physician assistance and only seek help when they are in crisis, queuing at a hospital's emergency room. These centers provide care on a sliding scale. This allows underserved patients access to services they may not have immediate access to. These services include primary dental care, behavioral health, and a vast number of other health-related opportunities. As a former VP for a homeless health and human service organization for 10 years, I have seen what happens when individuals do not receive appropriate health care. I have watched my beloved church members struggle with the choice of having to pay for health care or food. It is bad that our community is abandoned by a food desert, but it is unconscionable that our residents are experiencing inhumane health disparities. Providing a health center in our community would single-handedly provide increased preventative care, vaccinations, early detection of diseases, and monumentally improving the overall health of the community and improving every single health indicator. Finally, supporting City of Philadelphia health centers strengthens the community health system as a whole, allowing for better coordination of services and resources. And in conclusion, I implore you to eliminate this growing healthcare desert from my most vulnerable neighbors and friends. And with that, I take great pride in supporting Bill 250486.
Thank you for your testimony. Thank you for being with us this afternoon. Are there questions from members of the committee? The chair recognizes Councilmember Jamie Garcia.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I've just been sitting here listening and just wanted to say this sounds like a wonderful and transformative project, and what a great idea to use the health center as an anchor. So I just wanted to congratulate you, Madam Chair, and the administration and the community for bringing this all together. It sounds fantastic.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being with us this afternoon. Will the clerk please call the name of the next witness here today to give us public comment?
There are no more speakers on the public comment list today, Madam Chair.
This concludes the hearing. And we will go into the public meeting. We will now convene the public meeting to consider the actions to be taken on the bills before this committee today. Will the clerk please call the roll for attendance? Members, please acknowledge your presence when your name is called.
Chair Lozada,
Present.
Vice Chair Squilla,
Present.
Councilmember Gaudier, Councilmember Driscoll, Councilmember Harity, Councilmember Young.
Thank you. I will note for the record that a quorum of this committee is present. I note for the record that Bill number 250483 is being held at the request of the sponsor. The chair recognizes Councilmember Squilla for a motion on bills number 250426, 250485, 250486, 250433, 250492, 250434, 240435, 250440, 240441, and 250484.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that bills numbers 250426, 250485, 250486, 250433, 250492, 250434, 240435, 250440, 240441, and 250484 be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended to permit the first reading of these bills at our next session of council.
It has been moved and properly second that bills number 250426, 250485, 250486, 250433, 250492, 250434, 240435, 250440, 240441, 250484 be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended to permit first reading of these bills at the next session of council. All those in favor will signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. The motion carries. There being no further questions from members of this committee, this concludes the business before the Committee on Public Property and Public Works for today. Thank you all very much for your attendance and for being with us.